Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Schrader with KHI Solutions. Thanks for joining us this morning. First of all, I just want to say, for those of you that were at our Agent Awards event on Friday night, thank you for attending. And for those of you that are on the call that weren't there Friday night, talk to me sometime about how to make sure we get you there next year. I think a great time was had by all. And our presenter today, Joe Evans from Colonial Life, I want to thank you, Joe, for your sponsorship at our event on Friday night, because we had just a great turnout, and we couldn't do it without our carrier partners, and Joe's a great carrier partner with us. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and turn it over to Joe Evans, District Sales Manager with Colonial Life, to talk to us about voluntary benefits. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you, Lynn. Good morning, everyone. Hope there's not too much rain and snow in your neck of the woods, but we get another storm, I think, tomorrow. So living large in Iowa. Well, anyway, thanks for those that are joining today, just to hopefully have a high-level view about voluntary benefits. Maybe this is something that will support what you know. Maybe there'll be some information that's new and exciting. But at the end of the day, hopefully give you some additional confidence and ideas in starting conversations or continuing conversations with your customer. So I hope I don't talk too fast. I get told that I do that, but I'm just going to dig into the PowerPoint here, and I called it Voluntary Benefit Integration and Value in 2018. Just a little background. I've been in this space for 29 years, and it continues to evolve, but it's even more prevalent and necessary today than it's ever been in the past. And probably everybody in this call is an advisor and a consultant to employers and their employees. And at the end of the day, voluntary benefits, yeah, it's just a growing, I call it the stepchild part of the insurance space, but it's something that's becoming more necessary for many reasons. And let's get into that. So today's agenda was to basically talk about integrating voluntary benefits with your customer. I want to talk about our market, what we're seeing, and some opinions and observations. Talk about what our voluntary product in our market. Talk about the partnership with KHI. Talk about concepts of off-renewal introductions and why they work. Talk about increasing agency revenues, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about as much as anything. And also talk about voluntary benefits in the delivery models and how those are bringing, brokers are bringing that to market. So some opinions and observations. Here's a quote from a friend of mine, Marty Trainer with Mutual of Omaha. For employers, voluntary helps meet the diverse needs of today's workers while requiring only low impact administration. For employees, voluntary benefits allow easy access to needed personal and family protection without having to shop around in a market that otherwise might overwhelm them. And he's quite often quoted and writing articles in the Benefits Pro magazine. If anybody has probably seen some of his articles. Some other quotes: voluntary benefits offer employees affordable financial solutions that they elect and pay for themselves, avoiding significant financial burden on employers. Small employers, voluntary benefits are a way to compete with larger businesses that are often unable to offer more diverse benefits. That's from Mass Mutual. Another quote: more than half of the employers currently offering voluntary benefits said they will increase these offerings in the next 2 years. That was from Prudential. And another quote: voluntary employee-paid benefits allow businesses to offer insurance coverage to their employees at lower group rates, and which is kind of an interesting concept, because historically voluntary benefits were benefits that were individual chassis, but more and more we're finding a group chassis makes sense depending on the size of the case for different reasons. The biggest reasons are replacing other carriers, or we're looking for guarantee issue components, rate stability, rate reductions, that kind of stuff. But anyway, in a competitive marketplace, such benefits can help businesses attract and retain employees without affecting the company's bottom line. Why are voluntary benefits emerging? Well, if you did a little research, it's mostly because our workforce is changing. There are multiple generations now at the workplace, multiple employee situations, interests and needs. If a medical crisis comes up, how is a family going to pay their bills? Nearly 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 of savings, which is not a lot of money. Employers' benefit planning is centered on medical design. Medical plan designs and expense dominate an employer's benefit planning. And then we're finding more one-size-fits-all benefits no longer really is making sense. So we have to come up with more customized choice. Warren Buffett made a quote last year, "So medical costs are the tapeworm of American economic competitiveness." I thought that was fun. Rising deductibles and out-of-pocket expense drive employee needs. Voluntary products can provide employees a financial safety net. The biggest reasons we're finding is because employees have growing financial copay, deductible, and catastrophic exposures. Growing exposures. And some are losing benefits because of the defined contribution concept. Employers are setting out how much they can spend. What are voluntary benefits? Typically, they're offered through the employer, through the workplace, where employees choose to buy them in addition to their core employee benefits. Payment options usually are fully employee funded, but we're starting to see employers contributing. Sometimes we're seeing what we call a benefit bank being set up, where we can actually set up at like $25 a month per employee, funded by the employer, and then the employee has access to a few voluntary products, and then they determine their participation from that spend. Hospital indemnity and critical illness are still the two biggest growth products in the industry. The numbers for 17 haven't come out yet, but based on 2016, it was another growth year. It went from $7.138 billion in 2015 to $7.630 billion. Life products and disability still claim the largest share of that. And then accidents, critical illness, and cancer also had an increase, except cancer had a decrease. And we think a lot of that's because critical illness, we're seeing more of that product having a rider for cancer rather than a standalone cancer sale. Hospital indemnity had a huge growth in 2016, and it was $622 million in sales over 535 in 2015. The mix of sales is pretty much still as it was. 70% are group product, group chassis products, and 30% are individual products or individual chassis. And sales for both grew 7%. And this is all from the Eastbridge 2006. This data is from the Eastbridge 2016 annual U.S. Worksite Sales Report.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
If I could just interject. So guys, I just want to say this. Look, if you're not, and I can kind of see if you do it through KHI, I can kind of see how many of you are writing voluntary benefits. And there's a lot of you aren't writing it. Maybe that's why you're on the call today. That'd be good. But there is so much opportunity here and the growth is happening. So you're missing a huge opportunity if you're not addressing this with your clients. So I just want this urgent kind of call to action. As Joe's talking to you about some of these numbers, don't miss out on this opportunity. Get in there, be talking to your clients now, off renewal about this. And by the way, most of you in this group space, we've talked about our pilot program for Ease Central, our enrollment platform. I think Joe's probably going to touch on that later. But you've got to be talking to them now, and this is a great way to have them, hey, why don't we bring on a voluntary product now and test out the enrollment platform before we get to fourth quarter. So I just want to plant that seed as Joe continues to talk through these numbers. There's huge opportunity. Let's not miss out on it. Thanks, Joe. Go ahead.
Thank you, Lynn. No, this is, you know, again, as as most of the people on this call probably took a haircut with ACA, financially, yeah, voluntary is really, it picks up steam and it continues to evolve, and it's more of a play for brokers and their customer. And we're trying to make that easy for you or for anyone in helping support that conversation and that process. I think I've gone the wrong way. Let me go the right way. So yeah, a product portfolio is typical. There's an accident, a dental, a disability, life, special risk, supplemental health, which might be a hospital indemnity type of model. Again, all of these supplemental products are designed to help offset medical costs, fill gaps or backfill gaps left over from health insurance. Again, the incentive for the employers, there's no cost. And that, you know, for 29 years of doing this business, that's still the biggest reason I think employers offer this, is because there's no cost to the employer. Many of these products today also have what we call a wellness benefit, or an incentive for an employee to go get a checkup or a family member to get a checkup, and it will actually pay them money back against their premium to having the product. So if a company doesn't have a wellness type of offer, voluntary benefits have been used now as a wellness play for employees. Sometimes you'll find these products plugged in through a pre-tax deduction. Generally, it's very easy for claim filing. There's several options available. I mean, they can take a picture of a claim form and submit it over their phone, or there's apps for phones, or they can call the 800 numbers or call our office. I mean, there's lots of ways for helping people, and which is kind of a key thing, because the whole idea is to get money back in the hands of an employee that might have this type of product. Generally, you're going to find simplified underwriting and guarantee issue underwriting. Most claims, actually, Colonial's been paying like 90% of their claims within one day for over 12 years. Group and individual, generally on the same platform, which is a concept that's very important for Colonial Life. And then obviously voluntary benefits have portability, which means the employee gets the offer through the employer. And then if they want to keep it, if they change employers, they can keep it at the same rate. The KHI partnership with Colonial Life, we put this together, I think we're coming in our 5th year, but it was basically to kind of provide a best of class resource for the producers of KHI and the sub-retail agents. The idea was to have a one-stop partner to help with case review, product review, enrollment services, and account service. One point of contact with seasoned enrollment team for KHI producers. A complete product portfolio with other value-added services, and those are actually additional leverage points to help an employer maybe fill a need with something that they might not be doing to help their employees, and also to help leverage better working conditions and better enrollment options. Colonial Life is basically the oldest and one of the biggest voluntary benefit carriers. They were the 2nd biggest, but last year that changed. Next to Aflac is the biggest, and then we're the 3rd biggest, and the highest industry persistency and account retention. I think this plays well for the customer service and the Colonial Life reputation nationally, because if we're going to have a relationship with a customer, we surely don't want to lose that, and we don't want our home office to do something wrong. We want to maintain that relationship and support them the best way possible so everybody's happy. Over 70% of the annual sales for Colonial Life is broker and agency driven. We have the fewest billing and claims issues in the industry space. Colonial Life has an education, enrollment, administration, and integration options. And then a partner with an enrollment team where a broker contains all the control. And then we're a very partner-focused company philosophy, and brokers are hard-coded into a customer account, And then that doesn't change unless obviously the customer wants to change that. We've got some brokers that are hard-coded accounts, over a decade, even though they haven't had the client as a relationship for over 9 years. But that's their business philosophy. So just a summary, Colonial Life, they pretty much pioneered worksite marketing over 77 years ago, now 78. Over 1.5 billion in force, serving more than 90,000 companies nationally, 3.5 million policyholders and dependents, 60 years of experience in the public sector. About 45% of their block of business is actually in the public sector. They're a huge carrier in the public sector. They have a lot of national relationships with different organizations that are connected to the public sector, and there's a lot of special recognition and national endorsements because of that. And a multi-channel methodology of educating, engaging, and enrolling employees via technology combined with personal connectivity for employees at individual group meetings, call centers, and online. What differentiates Colonial Life? Again, I guess it's the biggest concept is it's not just a product play with Colonial Life. Yes, we have group and individual supplemental insurance, but the idea is to bring cost-saving solutions to the employer that they might not have thought about, or then they're not taking advantage of, or that they're not aware of. And then also bringing enrollment, administration, and technology partnerships to hopefully solve a problem for the employer and take some heavy lift off of an HR team or admin support within an employer. Some notes from a few years, well, actually 2016, we haven't seen that yet either, but in 2015, we enrolled $4 billion in annualized premium. How come? And actually, we enrolled $10 of core benefit for every dollar of voluntary. And we actually did 25,000 core benefit enrollment. See, the sweet sauce here is Colonial Life's enrollment system, it's called Harmony, has been a proprietary web-based enrollment system for, I think, 20 years now. And it's not only capable of enrolling our product, but it's also capable of enrolling other company products, other core benefits. And that's the big play nationally, where a broker is using Colonial Life and leveraging their enrollment team for a full service enrollment, sometimes at a multi-state employer or with several hundred or thousand employees, where Colonial Life is one of the only, they're actually the largest enrollment company in the country that can be leveraged for employer support. And online technology makes it easy for employees to diversify benefits. Enrollments are built for a customer. We can educate and enroll employees in their benefits all year round, wherever they are, whether that's in person, over the phone, online. And historically, we're mostly in the small group space. There may be an employer and they want to offer some products. The preferred method is always going to be a face-to-face introduction and education. But then if there's cleanup or employees that couldn't be seen, we can do that over the phone. We can actually do that online. And then year 2, 3, and whatever, sometimes we want to have more options for how those employees are having engagement about their benefits. And that kind of segues into this concept of technology. And Lynn, you know me very well. I'm allergic to technology on some fronts, but technology is really, becoming also a sweet spot sauce for many, many businesses. It's really coming down market over the years. It used to be the large group space might have had an admin system or an HRIS system, but now maybe some of the folks on this call are bringing that to their customer. But I know, Lynn, you've talked a little about eCentral and that as a enrollment system. Colonial Life has been plugged into that. completely, as well as they're plugged into, I think, over 40 Ben admin systems nationally. But it's another deliverable to how employees have access to benefits and how employers are finding a solution to the old modeling or the old way they were doing benefits. And now eCentral, and it could be with Colonial Life too, can be a new way to do benefits, and then have access for employees 24/7 for those benefits. Lynn, I didn't put any other slides in there about eCentral. Do you want to talk to anything about that right now?
Well, I mean, I think the only comment is this is the time to be talking about it, and then partner with the eCentral enrollment platform. And it's kind of use it as an excuse to say, well, let's try this thing out before fourth quarter. Why not bring some voluntary products in? And then let's do an employee meeting. We can educate your folks, and we can talk to them about this new enrollment platform. So I just think it makes sense versus rolling out this enrollment platform. And granted, you could put your employee handbook out there, and that's great, but why not put some voluntary benefits out there? So no, just take advantage of it. If you have more questions about eCentral as an enrollment platform and piloting that program with one of your groups, get with our group team, Allison, Tricia, Nakia, for that, and then we can help you through. So no, that's it. Good, thanks, Joe.
No, that's perfect. Thank you. Again, and also, like last year, I think we did about 15 eCentral cases, and we were most of them, the Colonial Life enrollment team, the enrollers, were used as an education arm for the broker to actually help the employees and help that employer learn the eCentral system as well. Whoopsie. Sorry, my computer keeps jumping. Now I want to talk a little bit about off renewal concept, because I don't know, I think there's still a tendency for a lot of brokers to just want to only bring voluntary benefits up when the employer asks about it or on renewal. And what we've really found over time is that you can actually have a conversation with your customer any time of year. And actually, sometimes it's a lot easier. Sometimes, you know, on renewal, you're dealing with renewal increases, maybe decreases, and usually that affects plan design change, which just can get muddy. But still, you can introduce voluntary at that time too. But we're finding a lot of traction with off renewal because employers are always looking for solutions to help offset increasing costs. Voluntary benefits provide a year-round opportunity for you. Off renewal is easier for employees to compare or replace another VB carrier because there is less benefit decisions to be made. And I would say that goes also for the employer. That also, off renewal helps create more meaningful planning discussions with employers. Off-cycle enrollments also allow employees to have a better understanding of new benefits or new benefit systems like eCentral, and they get more benefit from focused communication. It's sometimes an easier time to explain wellness and value-added benefits. It's usually a best time to discuss employer funding or benefit bank concepts, and it's an easier time frame for takeovers. And yes, mid-year takeovers are allowed, whether they're pre-tax elected or not. The IRS has loosened some of their shackles on changing VB carriers mid-year. So we're doing a lot in the off renewal cycle. So again, for everybody on this call, I mean, hopefully voluntary benefits, if you're not working with someone, you can find somebody to work with because it leverages new revenue opportunities. And the question I would have is, are you leveraging your client relationships? And if you're not, someone else is probably talking to them. If you aren't offering your clients voluntary benefits, you may be leaving yourself open to someone else coming in and suggesting them to your customer, your client. Other benefits compensation continues to be uncertain. We don't know. You know, there's a lot of legislation being done about, you know, are we going to change this? Are we going to change that? Hopefully, Lynn and I and some other board members were just in Washington talking about the role of the agent and the broker and what they need to be part of the equation, and I hope they'll continue to be part of the equation forever. Voluntary benefits are more popular and are growing in value. Increased and new revenue opportunities, it could increase your revenue from your current and potentially new account relationships. I've got a couple brokers that actually use voluntary benefits to bird dog new customers, and then they start that relationship and set up enrollment, and then that allows them to work with them on renewal for their competing for their health business and their other benefits. You can be an advisor to inform your clients and prospects of the advantages of offering voluntary benefits at the work site. And I want to key on advisor because I think that's the role of probably everybody in this call, is to advise and educate and consult with best practices, best ideas, and what makes the most sense for their customer. This is not just a product sale. This is a strategic sale by reviewing your current clients and consulting with them through education. Most successful brokers educate their clients and let the client decide what is the best fit for their company employees. And again, I think I've seen that change the most in the last decade versus in brokers bringing this in as a product play in the past. Now they're bringing it as an education play and let the employer decide. Here's a case study from just a couple months ago in January. A broker called us and asked us to set up a meeting with a plumbing company with 27 employees. We set up a discovery meeting with a company, which is basically, it was a half an hour Q&A about what they're doing, what they're trying to do, what they've done in the past. Have they thought about this? Here's what we discovered is their biggest challenge is the newly designed health plan had left higher risks and exposures for their employees. The surprise need was that we discovered they'd not had any voluntary products ever before, and obviously they weren't currently offered. So the broker in the Colonial Life strategy was to offer an accident, a short-term disability, and a medical bridge product. A medical bridge is the Colonial Life definition for a hospital indemnity. The enroller spent about 5 hours seeing 17 employees and used a call center enroller for the cleanup of the remaining employees. The result was they enrolled 16 employees, and the sales premium was just under $20,000 of new annualized premium. And the revenue for that broker was, it averaged 20%, but it was $3,865 of first-year commissions. So that was, we think, a pretty good result, and the broker was very happy too. Some ideas on how you get started in this business is having a conversation with a customer. If you could show them a way to expand their benefits and build employee goodwill without incurring additional costs, would they be willing to give you 15 minutes of your time? Are they open to discuss a voluntary product strategy around their current benefits? I mean, we could go on and make up more sentences, but the idea is just to have a conversation with the employer or the HR team about the value of voluntary benefits and where they may fit in or currently are fitting in. And would you as a broker, if you could help make a recommendation and help review that. And then trying to schedule a discovery conversation, schedule a discovery meeting, and showing them a creative strategy for controlling healthcare and benefit costs, share how to look at a customized benefit strategy that allows employers to offer a richer benefit program. And in short, in our world, a broker opens the door, and we try to help them close the deal and win a case. And then just a summary, we only need 3 benefit-eligible employees and 1 to participate to set up a case, which is kind of unique and another differentiator for Colonial Life. That, I thought I'd try to keep it short and sweet today, Lynn. That was the end of my webinar presentation today. Is there anybody else that has any questions?
Yeah, we'll just invite folks to type in their questions. And Joe, if you could, while they're thinking of any other questions they want to ask, what's the best way to get a hold of you or your team if they've got a client right now, and you guys should all be thinking of probably at least 3 or 4 clients that you need to have this conversation with. And then how do they get a hold of you, Joe, to get a meeting set up to have you come out, either just to visit with them or to actually go to a client?
Well, I don't like to sit in the office. I'd love to come call on anybody, anytime. My cell phone is the best place to reach me, and that's area code 515-745-0167. If I haven't called on your agency or met with you recently, maybe we could reconnect and we could get some time together and maybe take a holistic view of some of your questions and explain this further to you. And then maybe if you wanted to have a conversation with one of your employers too, I pretty much can come or shake loose if I have a couple weeks notice. And my email address is joe.evans@coloniallife.com.
And if you guys need that, or you couldn't write it down or whatever, just always call our office. We know how to get a hold of Joe. And Joe is willing. He travels the state. And that's what's neat about our relationship here with Colonial is Joe and his team will go anywhere. But I'm telling you guys, if you don't start thinking about this now and put this in your strategic plan for 2018, it's not going to get done. So I'm going to really challenge you guys on the call today is right now list 3 or 4 or 5, however many employer clients that you can think of. And I love what Joe listed there, at least 3 eligible and 1 needs to enroll. So the eligibility is pretty low to be able to offer these products. And so take advantage of this opportunity, you guys. And it really is, the burden is on Colonial once you open up the opportunity to make it all happen and help you with what that looks like. And they'll be on site with you. If we do go ahead and use the Ease Central platform, it's direct integration is just what that means. So when you have Colonial products listed on the Ease Central enrollment platform, which why wouldn't you, we'll work with you in our office to get that done. We just went through it. KHI has Colonial products offered to our employees. We did it through Ease Central. Misty set everything up for our group, and we went through it. And we had the Colonial Life option to select, and I have their benefits, which I'm glad you said that, Joe, about the wellness stuff, because every year all I do is go online. I submit an electronic claim to go when I go and get my I get my annual mammogram, and then I also have one other appointment, and just usually a physical or even a dental appointment. And I easily, you guys, get a couple hundred bucks back a year because I'm doing the things I should be doing anyway. But I get that money back. So anyway, I just want to really encourage you guys, please, please, please make this part of your strategy for 2018 to get voluntary benefits in as many of your clients as possible. And if you've asked them one time, don't stop there, ask them again. Things change. Maybe the person changes who's making that decision on whether or not to bring voluntary benefits in, okay? So, Joe, I'm not seeing any questions typed in. I think you did a thorough job. There's no questions here. We'll have this webinar posted on our website later this afternoon along with the slides. So Joe, if there's anything in closing that you'd like to wrap with today?
Well, again, just thanks everybody for jumping on this webinar today. I've been doing this a long time, Lynn, and I always look at it, we're trying to save the earth one client at a time. And is voluntary benefits, the first priority? Probably not, nor will it ever be. But it's really, it's elevated in value and prominence, and it's just, somebody's going to be, I perceive most companies will have this at some point. And, they say this statistically, Eastbridge, I think they said that still half of all the businesses out there, especially in the state of Iowa, don't have a voluntary benefit offer like this. So
Right.
It's a wide open opportunity for everybody. And,
right.
I was just thinking of another thing is, I'd love to call on anybody, anytime that's on this call. Maybe we just block out a morning, and I've actually stopped into a couple cases, clients with brokers, and we set the appointment on the spot, or we did a presentation on the spot, and that works actually too. It's just, you see, everybody on this call, you have a warm relationship with someone, so why not leverage that? and we're here to help support that any way we can.
Great. All right, Joe. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Joe, thank you from Colonial Life. Appreciate it. You guys stay dry out there. Have a great day and a great week, and we'll talk to y'all real soon. Take care.
Thank you, Lynn. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.